What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. Yesterday we got the launch of Phase 8 in Season of Discovery. This phase has been long anticipated. It is the phase that brings us the new Scarlet Enclave raid and the entirely new zone outside of Tyr's Hand, New Avalon. So in this video, I'm going to tell you guys how to gain access to New Avalon, the Scarlet Enclave raid, and then we're going to just kind of take a little bit of a tour around this new zone and explain some of the features and things you can do here. So without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so we're going to start off with how to gain access to the new zone, New Avalon. First, you must be attuned to Naxxramas. You're going to talk to Archmage Angela DeSantos in Light's Hope Chapel if you are not, and complete that quest. Next, you're going to pick up the first part of the chain of quests to gain access into New Avalon. This quest is going to be called Scarlet Activities. You can pick up Scarlet Activities from Leonid Bartholomew in Light's Hope Chapel in Eastern Plaguelands. This quest has you visit a small camp nestled into the hills of south of Scarlet Monastery in Trisfall Glades. Interact with the ball and chain object in the camp and it will summon an enemy, defeat the enemy, loot the item, and then return to Leonid. Next, you're going to pick up Unrest at Tyr's Hand. This quest is also picked up from Leonid after you completed Scarlet Activities. Visit the Scarlet Base Camp northwest of the entrance to Tyr's Hand in southeastern Eastern Plaguelands and talk to Commander Beatrix. Next, you're going to grab the Schism. Now, this quest is very simple. All you're going to do is go through Beatrix's dialogue and then return to Leonid at Light's Hope Chapel. After you return to Leonid, you're going to pick up the Scarlet Reclamation and return back to Beatrix at the Scarlet Base Camp next to Tyr's Hand where you just were. After you hand in the Scarlet Reclamation, you're going to be able to pick up Gathering Intelligence. You're going to pick this up from Calderon, who is right next to Beatrix, and this quest has you infiltrate New Avalon using a Scarlet Disguise in order to visit 3 waypoints before returning to Calderon. This disguise is cast on you as a spell. It lasts 10 minutes. You can mount once the disguise is active, but you cannot be mounted when receiving the disguise. To obtain the disguise buff, talk to Inquisitor Josephine beside Calderon. Now, when infiltrating New Avalon, both during the Gathering Intelligence quest and at any point afterward, it's important to understand how this infiltration works. You're wearing a disguise, and as long as that disguise remains active, Scarlet Enclave enemies will instead be friendly to you. However, while the humans are fooled, their bloodhounds are not. Throughout the town are patrols of watchmen escorting bloodhounds. If a bloodhound wanders near you, it will pick up your scent and attack you. If it manages to reach you, it will remove your disguise and apply a debuff that prevents you from disguising for a little while. Once your disguise is removed, the entire town will start attacking you. At that point, your only choices are to flee until they leash, or kill every mob in combat with you until you're able to disguise again. Now, once you've completed Gathering Intelligence, you can pick up New Avalon from Josephine. This quest provides you with the Scarlet Insignia, so you can disguise yourself moving forward. Be aware that you need at least 4 pieces of Scarlet uniform gear to disguise yourself, so again, you should farm that out before handing in Gathering Intelligence. Now, the Scarlet uniform gear is crafted, and yesterday it was very expensive on the auction house, but right now it's very low. You can pick up a 4-piece set for under 500 gold, and this way you can disguise yourself and head on into New Avalon and do some of the things we're going to talk about in a little while. Now, after you turn in Gathering Intelligence, you're going to be picking up Weakening the Defenses from Calderon. It just has you kill 3 Scarlet Siege Commanders, and these hang out in the area surrounding New Avalon, just above the entrance to Tyr's Hand. After you complete this, head back and hand this in to Beatrix. You're going to hand that in, and then you're going to get another quest from the Argent Emissary next to Beatrix called Report to Lord Tyrusus. At Light's Hope Chapel, you're going to head back there, hand that in. You're going to get another quest called the Wrath of Dawn to return back to Beatrix at the Scarlet Base Camp and hand that in. After you hand that in, you're going to be on Decapitation Strike. This quest is to raid the Scarlet Enclave and kill Balnazar, the final boss. The entrance to the Scarlet Enclave raid is actually a cave up on the hill from the Scarlet Base Camp. It's not inside New Avalon. This quest is not believed to be a required attunement to enter the raid when it opens, but you should probably pick it up anyways just in case. We have no clear indication if this is an attunement, if you need to be up to this part or not. We really don't know, but this takes roughly 30 to 45 minutes to get to this point, so I don't see why everyone should just not, just do it, just in case it is an attunement. Okay, so we jumped over to in-game. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tour around New Avalon. So first I'm going to show you guys how the disguise works, right? I'm going to take it off. I have the buff on right now. Well, let's move away from these guys so we don't aggro a bunch of things. So right now I don't have the buff on. I can get attacked. So I had my tier on and I put on my 4 pieces of the Scarlet uniform. I have the belt, the legs, the boots, and the bracers. All you need is 4 pieces, and then you're going to use that Scarlet insignia in your bags. And that'll put a buff on you that basically makes everything here. See how all these Scarlet mobs are now friendly to me? So you can actually walk around and kind of do whatever you need to do here. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tour. I'm still kind of learning a lot of this myself, but I spent quite a bit of time here yesterday. So this is the inn. This is where you're going to be able to pick up like the cooking stuff. All the cooking quests will be picked up from this chef in the back here. Carry Hearthfire. You can go here. You're going to pick up these cooking quests. I actually have a few of them. Like wrangling apples, the gently plagued meat, the main course, and these give you recipes for new foods. Like this is a 25 strength, 10 stam food. So you can pick those up if you have cooking, and it's kind of the same for every profession. There's basically a profession building for everything. I won't show you everything, but the blacksmith is if you need to use the Radiant Forge, it's in here. The Radiant Forge is what we're basically using to craft those Scarlet uniform pieces. I have 5 of the recipes, and it requires a Radiant Forge. That forge is in the blacksmith building over there. Now, you're going to come over here, and Pupper is in his little hut. And if you do a /pet on him, we gain a buff called Friend of Pupper. Maximum health increased by 10%, damage dealt increased by 5%. And this works only in New Avalon and Tyr's Hand. This is not going to be a buff we can bring into the raid, so keep that in mind. So when you're doing any quests here, you're going to want to pick that up. And let's move around. I'll show you a little bit more about where we're going. So if we go up into the main keep here, I'm going to show you, this is where the tier vendor is. And another important thing, which is a quest that you can do for a Scarlet box, which gives you a lot of stuff. I opened the box yesterday, I got a Righteous Orb, a ton of stuff. Blood of Heroes. It's going to be from Brian Steelblade. This guy will give you a quest. So I did it yesterday, and I was curious to know if it was going to be a daily thing or a weekly thing. It has reset now. It's now 11:30 a.m. my time, so reset's usually at 11, so it looks like it's not a daily quest. Maybe it's a weekly thing, I'm not sure. But this is where you're going to come to pick up your tier 3.5 from the Scarlet Enclave. As you can see here, this is the new tier set. It requires 1 trophy, kind of like the TOGC system, a Crusader's Chalice, and then that piece of Scarlet uniformed armor, which is pretty cool. So let's just take a look this looks like. I actually love the way that the warrior tier looks. It looks really, really cool. Actually, if I show you guys, match it with my guild tabard, it looks even cooler because I designed the tabard around these tier sets. So yeah, that's where you would come to pick up your tier, which is in the main keep here. And like I showed you before, I'm not going to go all around, but you have the blacksmith over there if you need to use the Radiant Forge. There's a tailor house. There's an alchemy lab. All of that stuff is here. So you just basically go around to these buildings. And the thing is, you can't really get into these buildings. They're locked unless you put the uniform on. So you see how these doors close? Like I did a quest where I had to go pick up food in all of these houses. You basically have to be wearing the uniform and have the insignia popped. And then you could walk up and just open these locked doors and get in. There was a quest where I had to pick up all of these. It was for a cooking thing. So that's pretty much New Avalon. It's down here past Tyr's Hand, right? And that little base camp is over here that I was talking about before. So you basically walk into Tyr's Hand and then kind of come to the back here. And there's a ton of stuff to kind of walk around and do depending on what professions you have. You can kind of take the insignia off, put your regular gear on, and join a group or a raid group and farm these mobs. They actually drop those patterns, you know, the leatherworking patterns, the tailoring patterns, the blacksmithing patterns. So there is a ton of stuff there. So that's about it, guys. That's how you enter New Avalon. That's how you kind of get attuned to get into this zone and do any of these quests that you want to do. I would recommend doing that quest that I showed you in the keep from the guy who sells the tier tokens. Whenever it is available. I thought it was going to be a daily, but it doesn't look like it is. Maybe it's a weekly, because it also gives you a fragment of a piece of tier, 1 out of 6. So that's something you're going to want to do every time that it is available. You'll get a Blood of Heroes, maybe a Righteous Orb. It's worth doing. And all the quest had me do was craft 1 piece of the Scarlet uniform. I'm not sure if it's the same for everybody, but that is the one thing I would recommend doing in here every time it's available. If you don't want to do any of this other content, the best part about it is that it is completely optional. None of this will affect how you perform in the raid or anything like that. Even the pupper buff from petting the dog outside is only active in New Avalon. In Tyr's hand, it's not active inside the raid. So pretty cool. This new zone is awesome. It looks like they put a good amount of work into this. There's a decent amount of content for people that want to do it and farm all these recipes. It is there for you. So I'm really excited. Tomorrow we're going to be jumping into the Scarlet Enclave raid for the first time. Me, No Hit Jerome, Sam Medina, Sarth, a bunch of people, Ebonheart. We created a guild on Crusader Strike Alliance. Anyone who wants to join this raid, we're going to take over 30 people because we want to try and clear as much of it as possible. We think it's going to be pretty hard. Definitely drop some comments down below. We will be taking anyone if you want to join the guild. We're Alliance on Crusader Strike. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely jump over to my Twitch, twitch.tv/hammerdance. We will be streaming the entire thing, and I think it's going to be a blast. And if you guys want to join an awesome Discord community full of like-minded people who all share the same love for Classic WoW and everything that's coming for Classic in the future, I think we have a pretty bright future for Classic. Join my Discord, link in the description below as well. Anyways, guys, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.